Imagine now that we need to change our function a bit. Let's say this is our function, but we want to look we want it to look a bit different in some of the points. Let's go to this variable browser and see we have this quadratic function, but let's say at 16 and 25 we want this function to be constant, and we want this constant to be equal to 36. Let's say we want this to be also 36. And we see that those elements are numbered 5 and 6. And what we can do here, we can say that we want y, the vector y at the position 5 equal to 36. And we want y at position 6 equal to 36. And then let's go to Z. Let's first check what will happen with in the figure. And we see actually that the curve has broken. So we have now 36 here, 36 here, and 36 here. That is how we can change separate elements of our vector. And let's say we want to do the same thing with Z. Let's say when Z is equal to 7 something, we want it to be precisely equal to 7. And let's say at 6 as well. So from 8 to 10. We want Z to be equal to 7. So let's say Z from 6. We could just do the same thing for each of the elements, but we have 3 elements, and it would be easier to do that all at once. And this we can do by just giving the positions of the elements as a vector. So all the elements of Z at these positions will be equal to 7 if we call them by using the vector, because this notation means Z at position 6, Z at position 7, and Z at position 8. This command calls all those elements and puts them equal to 7. Let's see. Yeah, we can see that at some point all of those values are 7. And let's go and check it directly inside the variable browser. We see that Z is equal to 7 at 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. So that is how we can control separate elements of the vectors. And there's a special thing for any vector which we can use and which is very handy, and it is called AND. So if we say want to, let's check it in the command window. We can also type commands here. So let's say Z AND. AND means the last element in the array where we put this AND. So we have to put the brackets, and then like we do in the numeration, but then we, instead of 6 or 7 or 8 or 5 or something, we put AND here. And then this will produce the last element of Z. For example, if we don't know what is the number of the last element of Z, then we could use AND and this last element will be produced. So let's go to Z and actually see what is the last element. Yeah, we see that it's precisely that element that we got in the screen. So by using AND, we can call the last element of the array where we use AND. Okay, now let's try Z. And then we can, for example, put and two brackets, like let's say there will be and. We want to produce and the last element, and then we want to produce and minus 1, the element, the last element and the element before that. And let's see what we have. And we produce the last two elements. So this is pretty handy. Okay, then another thing which is important when we need some large parts of Z, and we will be very lazy to type in all the numbers of all the elements we need. We can actually just type in a vector in the following way. We can say that 6, we can, instead of making brackets, we can just produce our vector by saying from 6 to 8. We know that this notation means exactly the same as this, because this notation produces a vector which has elements 6, 7, and 8. And then if we press this, we see that we produced elements of Z in position 6, 7, and 8. And those, as we know, are 7. So instead of doing this, we could just do this from 6 to 7. Yeah, just in order to have something new here, let's type, instead of from 6 to 7, let's take elements from 92 to 94, and let's put them equal to 0. 92 to 94, and let's put them equal to 0. And let's run again. Yeah, we see that thing here, and we see that there's 0 here, so there's one evidence of what we did. And then let's just directly see that elements from 92 to 94 are now 0. Okay. And the last trick, yeah, let's try it on Y. We can actually say we want elements 11, 9, and 7 to be equal to 0. How do we do that? This is the last element, which means this is an element which is called end. And this is the third element from the end. And this is the fifth element from the end. So what we can say y of end minus 5 with step 2 until end. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm doing this correctly, but if not, then we will correct it afterwards. Should be equal to 0. And let's run that. Yeah, okay. And then let's see what we have inside this vector. No, I miscalculated a bit. So this actually should shift a bit further. So let's say end minus 4 with step 2 until end. Yeah. And let's see again to the variable browser. And now we see that the 7th, 9th, and 11th elements are zeros, as we planned. So if something doesn't work as you expect in MATLAB, you just have to tune the parameters a bit and then go to variable browsers and look at them. And then probably you can do many things which you wouldn't be able to do that easily without these options with AND and this interesting way of numeration of the positions of the vector, which helps us to produce the results which otherwise would be harder to produce.